So, MJ, welcome to the Crypto Princess channel. How are you today?
I'm very delighted to be here. Thank you so much for having me in your show, actually, on your episode. It's great to be here.
Oh, it's great to connect again because we met at the end of last year at the CCCC conference,
Yep.
and we really hit it off. Um, so, MJ, the resident question I have for all of my guests is: if I was to meet you in high school, what kind of person were you?
High school? Wow, I was so naughty, actually. Like, at least once every 2 weeks, I was at principal's office.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, I was not like a very calm person. I'm not even a calm person right now, but
Mm.
less like I say more. I don't know. Shall I say more naughty or less naughty? I'm not sure. Like, but I'm a very proactive person. I cannot like
Mhm.
stay silently in one place.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
So were you quite popular as well then, I suppose, like the class clown?
Yeah, not a class clown actually. I was the guy behind the all the things that used to happen. Like I was a strategist mainly.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mm.
I used to like plan things and well, I always like to be the part of it. So I would never stay behind the scenes so rest of the guys get caught. So we all in it together.
Okay,
That's how it
awesome.
used to be.
So after high school, did you go off to university or what did you do?
Yes, I started out my high school here in Dubai, and then I went for university. I studied biomedical engineering here in Dubai in Ajman University, actually.
Mhm.
For 4 years, I studied something that is not has nothing to do with crypto or, of course, blockchain because blockchain. That's unlike 2009 when I went to the university. It was just the first year that's Bitcoin was like introduced to the world, but it was like nothing very popular. No one knew about it. Even I didn't know
Mm.
about it. So I studied biomedical engineering, and I loved it. Even I worked as a biomedical engineer for 3 years here in Dubai.
Mhm. Mhm. That brings us to around about 2015. That's when you got into crypto. Tell me, how did you discover crypto?
Well, it's a very funny and interesting story that back in 2015, it was like almost mid 2015, early, yeah, first half of 2015, I remember, because I was still working as a biomedical engineer. But a friend of mine told me that, a very close friend of mine, he told me that there is this platform that you invest in it and they will give us dividends because of our investment. They are going to invest in something on our behalf. It's called Bitcoin. It's kind of like a digital currency, something like that, because it was very big. It wasn't very clear as it is today. And honestly, I didn't invest because of their Bitcoin, the
Mhm.
new digital currency. I invested because the dividends, the monthly dividends, was like very tempting. So we invested in it. After 2 months, the first one we got a dividend. The second month, the website was gone, and at that time, I remember because I invested a worth of 2 months of my salary in it.
Gosh.
So it was a big hit for me at that time. And well, instead of becoming skeptical about it, I remember that it was something Bitcoin and it was a cryptocurrency. So I started to dig into the whole thing. What is Bitcoin? What is blockchain? What is the whole technology? What is the purpose behind it? That someone actually, we didn't even met the guy who was behind the whole website, is trying to con us. He's trying to like t- steal our money because of it. And the more I studied about it, I got more interested, mainly because of the technology behind it, blockchain. And that's how I was dragged into this. Sometimes I call it rabbit hole, sometimes I call it a wormhole, a black hole, because the more you dig into it, the more you get drowned in it. And I love how it feels to me because this is something else about me personally. I've always looked for something has which bring like ignites something in me, that passion, because I don't like things that are like moving like very slowly without any adventure in it. But blockchain seems so adventurous to me. It was something new, something that no one, almost like people barely knew about it. It was before the whole big run of the Bitcoin and the cryptocurrencies and all those like crazy all season things like that. So I got in touch with couple of those very early blockchain cryptocurrency projects back then, late 2015. It was in October because it was like a few weeks before my birthday in November. So I started working with them. I was in charge of their sales, their marketing, because it was their ICO. So we had to introduce it to the investors back early days, and it was one of the biggest challenges I've ever faced.
Mhm.
Mainly it was like really hard to tell people that
Yeah,
you have to invest in something that
yeah.
is called cryptocurrency. Now, I have to start with what is cryptocurrency? What is the whole thing? And what is its future potential? And now in the investment stage, it is called ICO. Oof, it was another challenge to tell them
Mhm.
what is ICO, initial coin offering. And we have to like bring other examples, like real world examples like IPO, initial public offerings, like the whole in the stocks, just to make them familiarized with the whole concept. So, and most of the times we used to get no's, like thousands of no's I got, but I never gave up because I believed in the whole technology.
Okay. So let's just unpack that. When we say 2015,
Mhm.
we're very, very early into Bitcoin. Bitcoin's only about 6 years old. It's had its first bull run, which was in 2013.
Yeah.
2014 was a bear market. 2015 was kind of like the recovery year, but the prices were
Mhm.
very, very low. We started off the year, or the lows of Bitcoin was just over 150 US dollars.
Yeah, it
And the
was like
high,
$300. Yeah.
yeah, and the highs was just under 400 or 500 US dollars, maybe under 500 US dollars. So it's very, very early. You could have picked up lots and lots of Bitcoin for not so much amount of money. But then
Yeah.
saying that, nobody really understood what blockchain technology was. Nobody understood what Bitcoin was. Nobody's going to understand what altcoins were as well.
Oh
You
wow.
had a
Yeah.
really good job. Why did you give that up to go down this route?
I'll tell you something. When I was working as a biomedical engineer, I resigned in 2016. It was May 2016. I fully resigned from my full-time day job. It was I was working. I have to say this. I was working here in Dubai in one of the best medical companies here in the whole UAE, not just Dubai. We were one of the oldest, biggest. I had so many benefits. Everything was okay for me. Like there was, I like technically speaking, I didn't have any like reason for any like normal guy to quit from that job. But I looked at myself and also the people who were working there in the same industry as me, and I realized that there are people that are working in this space for like 15 years as a biomedical engineer, but they are still biomedical engineers. It
Mm,
feels boring to me, even though their salaries will, of course, like triple of quadruple of mine. But the thing is that I didn't see like they're moving from one step to a next one. They are not moving higher, just their salaries. So it really felt boring. But blockchain was something new. I saw the potential in the blockchain technology and its derivatives, like even its products, let's say. I saw the potential. I felt the potential, and I say, let's go with it. Let's just move on with a whole new wave because there is something which I believed. It was a very one of my old friends who told me something. When there a new technology, when there's a new wave of revolution happening, there are three group of people. The first group, which are maybe like 1 or 2% of the whole population, maybe they
mm,
go on with the wave and they benefit the most. The second group are the people who they say, okay, let's see what happens to the first group. And then if it was good, we will follow them. And the third group are the resistance. They resist to changes. They resist to new things that are happening. And they refuse to move with the wave. And they are the ones who are mainly getting drowned under that big wave of the revolution. So when I saw blockchain, I said, okay, this is a new technology and I want to be one of the very first, like earliest stage people, the first to be the part of the first group that are going to ride this wave. That's
Mhm.
why I resigned. I said, I just want to be with it, inside this, be a part of actually this technology, especially with the whole adoption, to make people understand what it is and to build on top of this technology.
Okay. Tell me about your family, because you're quite young at the moment. You've just come out of university. You've got this amazing job.
Mhm.
How do they react to this?
Well, I didn't tell them first that I want to uh, go for something new as a part of the block, like something called blockchain, because I didn't want to spend like days and maybe probably even weeks or months to explain them what it is and what could be the possible future. I told them that I don't want to work for anyone. I want to work for myself. So I'm going to resign. Of course, like any Asian or Middle Eastern families, they wanted to their son to
Yeah.
continue as well. First step, they wanted me to be a doctor, but I'm not
I
a
knew
doctor.
you were going to say that. Oh my God. Yeah,
I
yeah.
know. So yes, but then I said no, I don't want to be a doctor. And then they even it was my father who suggested me to go to become a biomedical engineer. So they wanted their son to be their firstborn to be a proud engineer of their in the family. But
Mhm,
it was a bit of a challenge. But I told them that I've taken this decision. I don't want to go along with it. And I want, yeah, I want to start from zero, from scratch. And I left my car keys at home. I said I'm gonna leave home, even though they were living here in Dubai. I said I want to start from scratch with my new journey. And even I left my car at home. I said, even I don't want a car. Here is my 0 points. Here is my beginning of the journey. And it was like loads of challenges back then. Even there were days that, well, I have some memories that some days in Dubai, even I had maybe like 10, 15 dirhams in my pocket. And my father used to call me every single day, MJ, do you have money? I said, yeah, I'm fine. I got money. And because I
mhm,
didn't want to show them that I didn't want them to think that I failed, because
mhm,
this would have been their what the first thing comes into their mind. Okay, he has lost the job, he has resigned from his job, and now he has failed because he doesn't have money. But for me, it was a different thing. It was a different story because I was building something for myself.
mhm. Okay.
So yeah, their reaction, it was like a big challenge. I used to even visit them once a week because I
Mm,
even separated my home. I just rented one room, a shared flat, in a shared flat in Dubai and Sheikh Zayed Road. I was living there. I was working remotely. I was having my own meetings, doing this, doing that, and I really miss those days sometimes, because those were the days that it became like a chain reaction and brought me into the whole and this where I am right now
mhm.
today.
Okay, so that was 2015, 2016.
Yes,
Let's talk
15, yeah.
about 2017, because I think 2018 probably is going to probably hit you very hard. So 2017, Bitcoin started off the year around about $1,000 and it literally just went up and then it just went parabolic. Started off the year around about $1,000, finished the year at $20,000. You were still working in blockchain, you were still doing all these ICOs. Bearing in mind the biggest narrative in crypto in 2017, which was Bitcoin's second bull run, was ICOs. You were making a huge amount of money. It probably felt like nothing could go wrong and you were invincible. Um, what happened? What was your journey like in 2017? And then we'll get to 2018, the bear market.
In 2017, I have to admit something. I never bought a piece of even $1 of Bitcoin back then, because I was so busy like working. I never, because at that time I didn't have the look at, like, I wasn't looking at Bitcoin the way I'm looking at it right now. I have to be frank about it. I was mainly focused on building projects, building things on top of this blockchain technology, building new blockchains, and I was working with the different projects. I exactly but remember the moments when Bitcoin was going parabolically towards that almost $20,000, the peak level, and people were calling me the investors because I was in the sales and marketing. So they used to call me, "What's going to happen with Bitcoin? What's going to happen with the even Ethereum, with the other?" There was even, if I'm not mistaken, Bitcoin Cash was there back then. Litecoin was there. There were other cryptocurrencies. What to buy, what not to buy. I told them, I was trying to give them some advice, but I didn't want to sound like a professional because I never like was a technical analysis or anything like that. But generally, I used to give advice. Okay, this is a cryptocurrency, and we. I wasn't thinking that it's gonna like drop to like $3,000 afterwards. After that peak level of going to 20,000 or almost $20,000, but it was exactly starting from 2017 that I started making very good money with the projects because people were rushing in for ICOs. They weren't just to the next big thing. They were looking for looking out for like to search for the next Bitcoin event.
Yes, they were. Yeah.
Yeah, so with the projects, I have to say I started making like a good amount of money back then, and until it was 2019. Until then,
Okay, let's
yeah.
talk about 2018 first. So
Mhm.
2017, you did amazingly well because you were already in ICOs. You knew what ICOs were. They were the craze, and you would get coins that were worth, or coins that you'll buy in ICOs for a few cents, and they will go on to make hundreds of US dollars, like they'll be worth hundreds of US dollars. It was absolutely crazy. Like I said, the price just went up. Then we hit a number of things. We had economical concerns. The SEC came in, issuing Wells notices to cryptocurrency exchanges, to cryptocurrency projects. Although there was a lot of legitimate ICOs, obviously
Yeah.
there were bad characters as well, and they got, or they would get, they were starting to get exposed as well. Come 2018 and the bear market hits and everything just drops and it just goes down. Were
Yeah.
you aware of the difference between a bull market and a bear market?
I have to also say this. It was the first time that the narrative of bull markets and bear markets really hit with people because not so many people that got into the crypto was during the time that 2017 2018 because they suddenly saw the rush that they felt even that adrenaline rush that there is something cryptocurrency Bitcoin we have to get into it. So many people unfortunately lost money, and especially during 2018 for for different reasons. One of them is that people were not well educated. They thought any cryptocurrency could go high.
Mhm, mhm,
No matter what they buy, they're going to become millionaires. And another thing is that there, and the second thing was about the projects. Projects were mainly two different categories, or two different like let's say type of project. One of them, first group, they just wanted to make money no matter what. They didn't care if they are going to actually build something, if they're going to succeed or not. They just want to make some money for themselves. And if they succeed with the projects, good. If they didn't, at least they made some amounts of good amounts of money with the ICOs or whatever it was. And the second group was that they weren't the ones the I'm talking about the failed projects, not the succeeded projects, the ones they succeeded. The second group of failed projects were the ones that who actually wanted to build
mhm,
something that's last, a sustainable project, but they couldn't because of so many different things. Either their plan actually was something that was either too good to be that could happen actually, like they were having these big visions that they want to be the next Bitcoin, but the thing is that when they came to the execution part of the whole plan, they couldn't execute it, they couldn't succeed with it. Those
mhm,
were the two main projects I personally saw firsthand. Those two different projects that type of projects, group of projects that they failed back then. Those were like the main reasons that back then people lost their money.
mhm.
There was a
Mhm.
huge people losing their money. I was getting loads of still messages and calls. What happened to this project? What happened to that project? Even though always I've told everyone from my family, friends, or even the strangers, I told them no matter whatsoever you want, whatever project that you want to invest in, always invest the amounts of money that you can afford to lose. It's not a gamble, but you can never predict the future.
Mhm. Mhm.
God knows what can happen to the projects.
That's very true. Okay, so that was 2018. Let's
Mhm.
talk about 2019 because that was another turning year for you.
Yeah.
Um, you got involved in another crypto company and you were helping around with their community, etc. Tell me about that.
Well, it was Jan 2019. Well, back then, until then, I had my network in the whole blockchain space was growing, and I had friends who were already like builders, like blockchain
Mhm.
developers. So one of them, they told me I was in a trip actually in Istanbul, and he told me that there is this blockchain company, blockchain development company. It was called Core Blockchain Technology. They are based in Estonia, and if you want, I can introduce you to them, and you can start working with them because they're expanding. They are developing different projects, projects of their own, and also the other projects belonging to other teams that they are helping them to develop. I said, yeah, let's go, let's do this because it was a to me it was a very good thing to do. It was making my life way much easier rather than looking for a project to work with. I started to working with a company, with a team that they
Mhm.
are building different projects.
Mhm.
I started working with them as their community manager, kind of. I used to take care of the users for the projects that they were building, mainly in Telegram and other social. It was, yeah, mainly in Telegram actually, Telegram and Instagram as well. Responding to their the users if they needed anything, needed help, if they had any questions. I was in charge of even their live chat supports for the even their other teams that they were having questions, they want to build something, or the users who were parts of the other project, who were investors of other projects. That was a big turning point for me because now I was deeply involved within the roots of
Mhm.
developing blockchains.
Yeah. Oh my God, that sounds absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, so you found the ideal job. 29, oh my God, let's talk about 2020. So 2020, the pandemic hits.
Yeah.
It was a very difficult time.
Mhm.
People were dying everywhere. There was a lot of
Oh,
uncertainty.
for sure.
Businesses were closing. People were losing their jobs. There was lockdowns all over the world. It was a very, very difficult time in March 2020, Bitcoin had one of its worst corrections. It went from, I think it was 9,200 US dollars down to 3,800 US dollars. That was a 63 odd percent correction.
Mhm.
A lot of
Okay.
people left Bitcoin. What were you doing? What was the pandemic like for you?
The pandemic also was one of the times that we had a couple of successful projects back then, and
Okay.
of course, a couple of failure ones more
Mhm.
than the successful ones. But the thing is that back then I was staying in home, stuck in home. Yeah,
Yes.
so we couldn't go anywhere. So all we could do was to work remotely online. My work was already remote, so it wasn't anything that I needed to like being in Estonia or being in any office or anything like that. So I was staying home. I was trading actually, and I had one of my biggest losses back then in 2020 as well. I'd never forget that because during that crash when it happened, let me tell you this story of mine that I needed money to invest to do some investment of my own. And a friend of mine who was a very good trader, we were
Mm.
trading together. So I was technically like copy trading. He was telling me, okay, MJ, let's buy this. This is a good time to buy this. And we were like, of course, with leverages on futures trading. I never advise anyone to go to do futures trading, especially if you are a beginner. It's a
Mhm.
very, very dangerous thing to do. Okay, it's like playing with fire if you don't know how to contain it. So we're like trading, and it was exactly the night that Binance, they were going to there were some future contracts expiry back at that time, and I never forget. We had I at that time the amount, the value of my future open positions, the open interest, it was $1.2 million. I had $60,000 in
Oh,
20x. Yeah, $1.2 million worth of thing, and well, it was $60,000. I have to always I clarify that when there is a liquidation, when the people they hear the liquidation amounts with like millions of dollars or billions of dollars, that is the value of the contracts. That is not the actual
mhm.
money that has been uh, liquidated. So I had $60,000 in, and that was like 60% of the money that at that time I was having left, and I was planning to increase it so I can invest in something, one of the projects that we were building. So $60,000 was gone in matter of less than a minute,
Oh my gosh, that's
because
awful.
we were all expecting it to maybe like
Mm,
we did. It was gambling, to be honest. What we did, the decision we took, I have to admit, it was like a gamble, because we were saying, okay, we want to close our the trades that we had, but they said, let's keep it open. It might go up. You never know. But well, it had a big nosedive.
yeah.
So I lost at
Oh,
that time. It was like that $60,000 was a lot of months of money for me, because I was expecting to increase so I can invest in some other projects. But I learned my lesson, and thank God I could recover, because some of the money that I had, I invested in one of those early projects like Elrond, if you remember. They changed it to Elrond Gold, GLD.
mhm,
And I remember that really did help me to recover, because the project did a really good job. Still, they are on,
mhm,
so doing a pretty good job as well. And now they called Multiverse X.
mhm.
So yeah, that in that crash, actually, that was the thing what's helping. And of course, with working with the blockchain developer company, the core technology, that was another thing that could really help me to recover back then.
Mhm. Um, okay, let's talk about 2021 now. So 2021, Bitcoin's third bull run started off the year around about 30,000 US dollars. From 2020, we obviously had all of this money that was being printed. We had all of this stimulus coming in. 2021 bull run was absolutely massive. Started off the year around about 30,000 US dollars, went straight up into April, where we hit the local high of 64,000 US dollars. Then the China FUD hit. We also had like the Tesla FUD and all the rest of it.
Mhm.
We literally cut in half. We lost 50% of the value, and we ranged at 30,000 for a good couple of months. Bitcoins were taken off the exchanges. The supply shock, um, and then obviously later on the euphoria, etc., drove the price of Bitcoin to make a second all-time high. Well, to make a second peak, and
Mhm.
the actual all-time high at 69,000
Yeah.
US dollars. Then we had again the SEC came in issuing Wells notices.
Mhm.
We had economical concerns, and naturally, it was the end of the 4 year cycle, and we slid down into a bear market.
Yeah.
Um, it was a double peak. In hindsight, it's a beautiful thing because you know exactly what happened. But when you're living through that and you get to April, and then all of a sudden your portfolio is literally cut in half, and then it ranges for a good couple of months, it is a
Mhm.
very difficult time. It was a difficult bull run. What was 2021 like for you?
2021, I was still well, I was promoted actually from their community manager at the core technology company. And at that time, I was promoted actually from community manager, like in charge of community, to project coordinator.
Okay,
So it
well,
was like a biggest step up for me.
yeah.
I had more things to do, because I had to coordinate everything, the events here, there, online events, online hackathons with different projects. It was a big mess. I have to say. But at the same time, it was, I think, one of the most, maybe I can say, unfortunate years for the whole crypto space, because there was a meme coin hype. There was a hype for
Yeah.
NFTs.
Mhm.
And so many people still today, to this day, are suffering from the losses of that time. They invested in different, they purchased so many NFTs. And unfortunately, and even metaverse, some
Yeah.
metaverse companies, projects also, they were like hyping, like going parabolically high. They were like skyrocketing, and suddenly they went, they like really, it was a big crush. They were crushed. The prices were crushed. Even some of the projects were crushed. They couldn't survive anymore. NFTs are still, there's some pixelated images, and it's really complicated. So many things for some of the current projects. It really made them hard to build something new, because one of the things that happened back then was that, from my point of view, NFTs were introduced in a wrong way to people.
Yes.
Metaverse was too early, I think, because people didn't have enough tools to get into the whole actual metaverse space. They didn't have the actual tools and accessories and utilities, and there was not so much of use cases back then for us.
Mhm.
Meme coins, well, that's a different story, because still today there are, like, every single day there are people going and launching themselves. Every single person can go just to, for example, some this platforms which I personally don't like. I'm not a meme coin fan, and I never advise anyone to buy meme coin. I've never purchased meme coin myself as well. So that's a big different story. That is one of the biggest causes of losses for people. But
Mhm.
people are getting more smarter. So back to my story. 2021 was a big step up for me, because by end of that year, after 1 year after that, actually, I was also I had another promotion within the company, so I was really enjoying working back with the core technology. I learned so many things with them.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Awesome. 2022. Again, bear market.
Yeah.
So,
Never
yeah.
ending bear market. That's how it felt like.
Oh, it did. Yeah. So 2022 hit bear market. Oh gosh, we had loads of Black Swan events. We had FTX, we had Luna, we had Three Cows Capital, we had Celsius, we had Voyager, and it was like almost like they came one after the other. We never even got a break. It was
Mhm.
like one thing would happen, and then almost immediately it felt like something else would happen. A lot of people lost money. A lot of people are not here because of what happened in 2022.
Yeah.
Um, so from the all-time high, which was 69,000 US dollars in November 2024, November 2021. November 2022, we hit the bottom, which was around about 16,000 US dollars. That was huge, a huge drop. Um, for you, what was the bear market like? Were you expecting it yourself, or were you caught out?
I at the beginning of our conversation, I mentioned something. I'm a blockchain maxi. I'm a tech maxi.
Mhm.
Of course, price of the markets like bull run and bear runs was affecting my investments, like the projects I was investing in and everything. But I was never worried about it if you're in a bear but because I was mainly busy and focused on building on that technology. So I
Mhm.
remember there were like so many people telling me, "Oh, Bitcoin is going to zero. Bitcoin has died. God knows." So all of us have heard this story.
Mhm.
Like still, some people are saying as soon as like Bitcoin goes down for like I don't know even 10%, they said, "Oh, Bitcoin is gonna die." For me, I like my answer to them was like it was my personal answer. I used to keep telling them, "Let it didn't die. Worst case scenario, it's gonna die, but nothing is gonna happen to the underlying technology. Even if a Bitcoin fails, well, technically speaking, we know it's not gonna fail, but you never know. Okay, I'm not being pessimistic. I'm just being logically like with talking about it. Even if Bitcoin fails, a second generation of Bitcoin is going to rise up like a phoenix from the ashes,
Mm.
because blockchain never dies. That
And
was
also,
my answer to them. And because no matter what happens to the crypto market, blockchain always stays as a blockchain. No matter, let's compare with internet itself. How many still ongoing scams are happening on the infrastructure of internet? Websites, scam websites, phishing links, different, even banks are getting hacked. But is anyone saying internet is bad or internet is a scam? No, because there are so many other ways that people are benefiting from it. The same thing for me, from my point of view, goes for the blockchain. So, of course, it was affecting that bear market was affecting my portfolio, but it was not affecting what I was doing.
mhm. Okay, so 2022, 2023 was a recovery year. 2024 was a halving year. Let's talk
Mhm.
about 2025, because again, you had a career change. You stayed in crypto, but you changed your career. Tell me about that.
Well, we I during those the last I worked with the core technology company, core blockchain technology, for 6 years, starting from the community manager to project coordinator, and I was in operations as well. And then for the last almost 2 years, 1.5 year, let's say, I was working as the project manager. I was managing everything, and I was really enjoying managing this, managing that, like coordinating between different teams, even traveling to other countries or cities for the events and to coordinate events, doing that. But something suddenly hit me in 2025. It was like end of 2024 almost. That we keep building, 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 but people are not still educated. There's a huge education
Mhm,
gap.
mhm,
There are new projects left and right are being launched, but people even don't know how they can be benefited by those projects. How they don't know how they can even benefit. What are even the different use cases for blockchain and cryptocurrencies themselves? So that's when it hit me. I said, okay, something is missing. That is education and awareness. Not in trading, because I was not a trader. I am not a trader. I never give financial advices. But what I something else I can do. There are so many people out there, influencers, people on social media, teaching people about trading, how they can trade, how they can make more money. But no, barely people are talking about how what are the other use cases for this technology, how other people can benefit from it in their daily lives, not just trading, not just money wise, but other ways that to live more securely and more efficiently using the blockchain technology. So that's when I started to uh, create, to focus on
mhm.
education, educating the mass without selling any packages. I hate those package
Yeah,
sellers.
yeah.
Yeah, buy my package, you'll be a millionaire, you'll be like this. I was never a fan of those kind of people. So I said, okay, let me start working on my own social media channels, like especially on my
Mm,
Instagram. With Block by Block, I came up with Block by Block with MJ. And as soon as I started creating a couple of contents and videos, but my very first videos, even on YouTube, with Block by Block with MJ. And then I heard about this media called the Crypto Radio, and I got in touch with them. I even saw they're having an ad that they want someone who knows about cryptocurrency for some to host the show. Well, there is something about me.
mhm,
Even though I'm a very proactive person, I love to the challenge and things that I was always the guy behind the curtains. I was
mhm,
behind the guy behind the scene, backstage guy. I was never a guy in front of cameras. It's not that I'm shy. I never give it a big try. Even though, well, I did some conferences, I did some speeches back then for a closed group of people, like up to like maximum 500 people back then. But it wasn't like in a media way. So I said, okay, I love challenges. I love to educate people. So this is something that I can actually leverage to help people to know more about crypto, do's and don'ts about both crypto, blockchain technology, even sometimes AI. That is when it was. I started. My first meeting with the crypto radio was in Jan. Feb 1st was my starting date with the crypto radio, 2025.
And how was it? Was that quite nerve-wracking for you? Did you know what to say all the time? Because you just got to keep talking.
Yeah. It was well. Luckily, my first in the first few couple of months, all the shows were pre-recorded. So we
Okay.
used to record the shows, then edit, then air them. And one of the things that made the crypto radio very unique was that there were, and as far as I know, there are still the first media company in the world that they are dedicated only to crypto, blockchain, and Web3 tech, and streaming 24/7 about it. So it was giving me that kind of feeling that okay, that this is something big, and it was something big.
Mhm.
It is something big, and it was a very big challenge because I had to write scripts. I had to go through the scripts, say the right thing, in because it's a media company. It's not like my own social media channel that I can say whatever I want. So I had to really be careful, make sure what I'm saying is correct, is legit, and then do the whole thing. And the biggest challenge, actually, it wasn't the beginning of it. It was almost 3 months after that when the managing team of the crypto radio, they said, okay, radio is good, but we have to go visually live. So that was the biggest challenge because in the live there are no more edits. If you
Mhm,
say something wrong, you've said it. It is on air.
mhm,
Yeah, you can do nothing about it. But that was, it really helped me to learn a lot. And I
mm.
did learn a lot thanks to this opportunity that they gave me. And starting from June, we did some practices in May. In June, we start to be visually live. And that was the for me, it was one of the best experiences I've ever had in this space. I now most of the people actually in Dubai, they know me as MJ with a mustache, the media guy, the radio guy. Most of the people in Dubai, especially, this is how they know me.
Yeah, because it's very, very big, isn't it? How many viewers do you get?
Well, until uh, they exceeded over 1 million viewers a day on
A
Binance
day?
Square.
A
Yeah,
day?
yeah, day.
Oh my gosh, MJ, my
On
goodness.
Yeah, they exceeded that, and it was just last year, actually, in December, because then I took a trip for a weekend, and when I came back, still they had the videos. I remember actually the post views because they were live for 24/7.
Mhm.
Every 24 hours there was a new post for like a new live. They were like restarting the whole system. So every single day it was like a 24-hour video live streams and recorded on chain. They were live on X, YouTube, and Binance Square, and they had the biggest engagement on Binance Square.
Wow.
So I remember it was during one weekend. Well, that was a recap live, but they got over 7 million views only on Binance Square.
That's huge numbers. That really
Yeah,
is.
yeah. And when they told me, because those kind of views, it was only seen by the admins of the Binance account, and they told me, like, I remember the founder of the crypto radio told me, MJ, his name is Thierry. So he told me, MJ, come here. I said, what? And he showed me on the screen, said, this is the number of views that we got. And we exceeded 1 million. And they went to, for he said, like, told me, like, at least 1 to 2 million people have seen your mustache. That how he told me.
It's a
So it was
wonderful
really
moustache.
exciting.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
wonderful moustache. So yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so I mean, you've achieved so much. You've been in the space since 2015. You know, you've done so many different roles in Web3 with crypto, all the rest of it. You're very, very successful in what you're currently doing as well. Tell me about your goals for 2026.
2026, actually, to be honest, I've this become part of the media space has really like I started really like it.
Mm.
I never thought I would. So what I have in mind to grow more globally, well, we have some upcoming plans. Well, I have to say this. I have paused my collaboration with the crypto radio, unfortunately, and I have some new plans into 2026 coming up very soon, which I will definitely let you know about it as soon
Sounds
as I've got the
exciting.
confirmation. There are some great big things happening, new
Mhm.
projects within the media space, mainly focus on, again, crypto and tech. And there are great things that are going to happen this year because as soon as I landed back, it was January 4th. I landed back in Dubai. I received a call. They told me, MJ, there's something coming up. We need you in it. So I think this is just the beginning of the whole new journey for me this year.
Oh, oh, that's so sweet. That's so
Oh,
sweet.
thank you.
MJ, it was absolutely a pleasure having you on the channel, and thank you for
Pleasure
sharing
is absolutely mine.
your journey
Thank
with
you,
us.
Francis, for having me.